One more thing I want to go over in this course is network address translation. Network address translation is something that is enabled through a NAT policy on PAN-OS. Of course, NAT is what you will use to change certain information within an IP packet. In most cases, it's going to be the IP address itself for the source or destination. It could be port number. In our case, what we will want to modify change is going to be source addresses of the packets that are received on the inside interface of the firewall because of how the network is configured, which basically makes router 2 unaware of the inside subnets, inside addresses configured in these environments. So what we will want to do here is that we will want to change the sources from 10.11.11.0/24. So as they leave the firewall, they will show up with an IP address that is assigned from a range of, let's say, 192.0.2.41 through 45. There's 5 addresses for the pool. So this is going to be a new source of within the packet as it is sent to the internet, which means that when router 2 gets the packet, it is going to reply to this translated address, which it will know how to reach because it's a part of the connected network. Before we take a look at configuration, let me quickly discuss the policy for NAT. Each role, NAT policy role, is going to require a source and destination zone at minimum, and similar to security policy, and NAT roles will be processed in a top-down fashion, which means that we will start evaluating the policy with the roles that are placed at the top of the policy. We will check if a role matches a packet. If it matches, we will perform a translation based on what the role says. If we don't have a match, we will evaluate subsequent roles in the policy, which also means that for any type of specific translations, you should always put them first in the policy before any type of broader rules. We don't have a match in the translation table, we will not perform a NAT at all. Using objects is similar to what I showed you for security policy is optional, but it basically makes the whole process easier to manage in the long run. Policies NAT is where we will go on the GUI to configure and NAT roles. It's going to be this table, by default empty, no implicit roles. I'm going to say add internal clients. NAT is going to be name of the role. IP version 4 is going to be the type. And now the original packet, or just the packet that they want to change, this packet is going to be coming in the inside zone. It will be destined to the outside zone, and the packet will be coming from my LAN 1 clients. No matter what the destination is, it's for all packets sent to the internet. So this is what describes the original packet. Now the second column says, do you want to make a translation, and if yes, of what type? I can use configure dynamic NAT with a pool, a dynamic NAT with a pool and path. I can do static NAT, or I can say that this communication I want to explicitly exclude from translation. In our case, it's going to be dynamic translation. We will configure a pool. We will want to configure a pool first before we select it under translated addresses. It seems that I am not able to configure the addresses from here. And then we will leave the destination address translation as none. Okay, so let's cancel for a second. Let's go back to objects. So pool addresses is the only exception to objects for NAT. If you want to do dynamic NAT, you want to define a pool for an address object. NAT pool. This is a range 192.0.2.41 through 192.0.2.45, like that. Okay, let's recreate this rule. Give it a name. Inside this, the source zone. Outside this, the destination zone. The addresses we want to change is our LAN clients. Then choose the translation type and select the pool. Configure it over here. Leave the destination translation as none. Okay, so inside to outside, this source in the packet, LAN1 clients, translation will be done dynamically using this pool. No destination address changes. Once again, we only change the sources here. We leave the destination address intact. Okay, so with that in place, we should be eventually able to test this configuration. I'm going to connect to the user PC.
You guys don't forget to subscribe if you like our content. Thanks!
The user PC is configured with a default route pointing to router 1. Let's double check. We will open up a browser and we will try to connect, let's say, to cyberec.com. And let's also try to get to, well, we still can access Google, maybe CNN. Okay, we see that we can definitely connect. We can definitely browse the internet with this simple configuration. And now the way that I would verify this, first and foremost, I would take a look at the security policy or just NAT policy. Pay attention to hit counts. That's probably the fastest way as how you can verify if the traffic matches your configuration. We should see the hits for the NAT policy and also for the security policy. So we see that these go up. And another place would be to go to the monitor tab. First and foremost, I would scroll down to the session browser. The session browser is going to show you the existing connections across the firewall. And I would also take a look at logs. Just remember that the difference between session browser and logging is that the session browser is only going to show you connections that already traversed through the firewall. So connections that are up, operational, or that were just terminated, versus logs will show you everything, assuming that the session in our case ended because we configured our policy rules to log sessions at the end. If the session was still up, meaning it hasn't terminated, we wouldn't see an entry in the logs until the session is over. You can change this by configuring to log traffic at the session beginning instead of the end, in which case you would see a log entry immediately in this table. That's pretty much it what I had at this time. I hope you guys enjoyed this course. If you are looking for more specific information about the different topics covered in this course, go ahead and take a look at www.cyberec.com. You will find a bunch of courses for PanOS and other appliances, other types of firewalls, other types of IT security content. So just go ahead and visit us on cyberec.com. cybersecurity.com. Thank you, everyone, and until the next time.